Everybody with that Hemo Plague. WE, they're hunting.
Oh, SKS, he's recalling. Doesn't manage to land it, and he recalls in Fog of War.
The unsuspecting WE thought he was going to recall in the bush, but they can't find him, so they know he's gone. And then suddenly they go straight to the Baron. It's a Kalista. It can out-damage a Smite.
Athena was actually thinking about contesting, but he decides to double back, saying it's probably already gone. There's a massive wave on the bottom side that will allow me to fully complete my item build. And WE, the crowd absolutely goes wild for that one as they actually turn the tables, take Baron, win the team fight.
We're at a legitimate even game in terms of gold, but there's a Baron for Team WE. There is an Elder Dragon in 45 seconds, and you better believe that's exactly where they're going to run with 3 Infernal Drake's Pulse. And this game has actually just turned on its head. Now we'll see the engage again. They get a pick on the Melon, but he has the Lantern thrown there and good awareness to pick it up. But watch 957. After this, you're all watching that, you're like, damn. But look how many people are hit by the Hemo Plague.
In the Cataclysm as well, so he couldn't even get out.
Insane amounts of damage will come out from that. It kills Jin Zhao, it separates BLG. MVP performances from individual members of WE is what's shifting the tides of this game. Even after Amazing Jade knocks them all up with Ornn.
MVP face check from Melon to start off the fight. Walks in there and is like, we got him. But now he's too tanky because he's actually built up tank stats. And 957, really very much the hero that this team needs. The fact he's given up so much farm as well to join the team and he still does that amount of damage is absolutely absurd.
It really is. The Vladimir is super scaled up except for that last remaining item. I'm expecting a death cap, I'd have to say. Get himself a bit more ability power.
Yeah, treat himself a little. I think he's earned it.
Buy a house.
Buy a house. Buy his whole team houses at this point because Elder Dragon's about to spawn. In fact, already has spawned, I think. Yeah, has spawned.
Ooh,
ultimate, Chain of Corruption. Gone there. Melon might use this opportunity. Good up by Ben. In comes Call of the Forge God. Let's see where it goes. Knock up onto Kalista, but that's not exactly what they wanted. Someone's dropping low within there. Is it Melon who's going to fall right here? Athena completely shreds him, but it's 957 on the chase. SKS very low, and he trades his life for the support. It's good for BLG as long as they can back away. However, they're all critical health. They actually back towards the Elder Dragon.
Exactly, and Kalista will still outdeal the damage of any kind of smite if you get enough stacks in it. SKS with no health, he's going to have to try and ram his head in at the perfect time, or it's gone, and they just choose to let it go. WE, fight after fight is theirs.
36% increased AD and AP in a late game team fight. WE, call it RNG, call it play, whatever it is, they've got it.
It doesn't work like that, Ben.
Oh my lord.
You're killing it, Sports more.
There is a very good chance they win this game now from the pits of despair, honestly. I mean, BLG, we were like, they're just going to take this game. They're winning fight after fight. They're a team fight comp. They're staying ahead. But unfortunately, the Infernal Dragon started to mount up.
We have seen very good things from BLG thus far in this set for games 2 and 3, if we take game number 1 out of it completely. It's just that at the end of the day, I think they got a little bit too hyphy when they were ahead. Yeah. They thought they were further ahead than they were, and that they'd never lose a fight in their wildest dreams. And they lost that one fight, and they gave WE an inch, and look at how it started to claw back slowly but assuredly. That last fight was on the back of Mystic, not even 957.
Well, still what I love to see is the fact that BLG are fighting back, and this has turned into a very exciting set between the two teams. But if Billy stopped playing like this against the other teams, especially the teams around them in the pack, 100% they'll just completely blast them out of the water if they're able to stand up to WE in this state. Because WE have very much turned on. It's like riding a bike for them. Once they get to the late game, they get to these team fights, it's like, we know how to go from objective to objective. We know how to play out the team fights. It's just how we get there currently is what's faltering. But at this point, you can very much say this is 100% WE online.
Definitely is. In saying that, you're looking at BLG having an Ornn in their team as well, so as 6 items go, they get 6.5. They've got 3 circlets of the Iron Solari.
It is true.
But it gives them resistances only, though.
But they're fighting against Infernal Dragons, so which one's going to win?
Like
is it the Ornn passive,
Dragons
or is it going to be the Infernal Dragons?
I have a feeling it's an Elder Dragon buff, 3 Infernal Drake team pulse. Yeah. I think they have the advantage.
Even Ben is a bit of a monster right now. In comes the Call of the Forge God once more. Knock up again onto Mr. But it's not really the engage that Billy want. I think maybe they're expecting WE to just launch on them.
Yeah, I think that they were expecting some kind of immediate force because Amazing J used that primarily just to clear the minion wave, to clip it down. There's no Baron buff and there's no super minions pushing in for WE, so they have to force in with a small wave against an Azir, which means they actually have to force.
but he has max CDR, so it's already down to half cooldown. As long as they can get this minion wave, though, Nethergrass down onto Amazing J. There's a big redemption that will help out Melon as he took a brunt of that damage. Though, GA's on the front lines, he's going to get bursted. Jin Zhao in with the damage. 957 jumps into the back line, looking for that Tides of Blood. Inside Green Pool, buys some time using Lasagna's Hourglass, but the rest of the team needs to bail him out right now. Mystic has to flash out. Massive ultimate from Athena to get both of the big carries of the team. And there comes the Ram one more time. Manages to knock up Ben. In fact, he flashes out. Stun goes down to Melon. He needs to disengage. 3 kills to Billy.
I actually have a feeling that BLG, if they have enough time here, will just run straight to top lane. There's an open inhibitor, and there is only one Nexus turret left. I actually think they might just win the game here, Pulse.
It might be 30 seconds, 40 seconds on the remaining members, and more importantly, those carries of WE. What's Melon and Ben to do in a situation like this? Maybe Ben can get up there, but he doesn't have any wave clear. Billy could just finish right here, right now.
20 seconds on Xie, ticking down to 15. 30 seconds on Mystic and 957. They could look towards it, and they are.
Minion waves. They're trying to cut the minion waves in mid lane, but there's a huge, massive flood of minions coming in from the top side. They're doing what they can to try and delay SKS. In fact, they're stalled the minions on the top side, so they're buying time. 1 more second on Xie. They're onto the Nexus. 10 seconds on 957. And Melon, Xie, they're doing what they can. Only the tags on the Nexus, but it's gonna be enough. Billy, take the series over Team WE.
And when BLG plays Team WE, you wouldn't have an ending any other way. It has to come down to the wire. It has to go to Game 3, and they get their redemption. They finally, once again, are able to take out Team WE in a best-of-3 series.
Different name, same rivalry, as they managed to take down Team WE. I'm getting flashbacks of that momentous day. And they get to take the walk across. The handshakes, the bow, it's all them.
It's not a game that'll take them to World's Pulse, but it is a game that feels bloody good for BLG. I'm sure they are very happy with their performance. WE, we mentioned it, they are going to have some hiccups. They're going to have some hurdles as they come back to playing competitive League of Legends and practicing again after a well-earned rest, but BLG are able to capitalize on that. They're able to pick up on that, and they do get a victory, and they earned that victory.
And many of those picks, I have to say, in those late-game fights were onto Melon specifically, which honestly just hurts for them because Connie is out of action right now. But when you get into that late game, WE is always going to be WE, but the one factor really is around that jungle. And sometimes it worked out just because they're like 957 is able to salvage the situation, but the one time he's not able to make a hero play, or the AD carry or the mid lane is able to do the same, then that happens. They really win the fight, they win the game.
I will say, amusingly, once again, Xie's items will get brought into question at this point in the late game. Not having a QSS, not having any way to get out against the Varus ultimate, getting locked down as he did, a big reason for why that tide started to shift in that last fight in the bottom lane. And that does come down to hitting the drawing board and reiterating once again the items that you need in late game. And that could be something that provides a big advantage. Once again, having that on there compensates for the QSS disadvantage that a lot of mid laners have by letting you build something else.
I mean, frankly, I'm just surprised they managed to beat a team with that many Infernals and Elder Dragon. They were able to wait out the Elder Dragon, but that is very much a crazy gold graph, up and down, as WE had most of the gold advantage throughout that game.
Up until the very end, of course, where BLG ran them over. The 10-minute spike at the 30 or 28-odd minute mark.
Yeah.
Still a good showing for BLG. The team fighting in particular is the place that you'd be directing your attention towards. Amazing J even acknowledging that top lane's a pretty bad time. I'm having a very rough experience up here. Let's build a Righteous Glory and a Locket and actually just support my carries. And there was a lot of carries running around, particularly Athena in the middle lane. He went berserk.
He absolutely did, but it was also the jungle as well was doing exceptional things, setting up Athena in that game. But that's it from us. We're going to send it over to the analyst desk to take a look at that whole series.
Thank you very much, Pulse. And for the first time since 2016's match, where IMA was sent to Worlds, Billy Game have been able to take down Team WE. I want to start with you, Frosco, because you said after game one, Billy need to do something, because they're doing nothing at all. Is winning this specific series considered something there, Frosco?
I mean, it definitely qualifies, Fish, so good catch right there. No, but what I said at the pre-game going into this one is that I didn't think that anything would be decided in lane phase. I thought that because it was Team WE and it was Billy Gaming, that it was all going to be about these big 5v5s, that both teams needed to draft for it. And guess what happened? Not to toot my own horn, it was all about the big 5v5s and the execution of that happening.
Yeah, the Ornn pickup kind of was... he understood where the series was going. To put it simply, he understood where the series was going. And 9 minutes in, when the dive came onto the bottom lane and it was unsuccessful initially, he found himself just sitting there and be like, What sucks? Vladimir's just taking up a whole heap of wave top lane. I'm just going to stay here. Initially, it wasn't even a choice that he made. He actually got canceled out in doing so. So he was just like, well, okay, apparently I'm going to get canceled. And it ended up working. They ended up taking multiple kills on the bottom side of the map. This is one of the multiple team fights that were happening in the mid side of the map.
And the big thing is AJ was always massive on this Ornn. But when you look back at the strategy that Team WE had to try to put him down, there were 4 top lane bans. Gangplank, Camille, Cho, and Alawi. They threw everything in the kitchen sink and then priority picked Vladimir to try to find a champion that he wouldn't be impactful on. And even then, they don't even give him man of the match.
And the man of the match brought to you by Azir is going over towards Athena this time round, Raz.
But that is the big thing, that when they put all of this emphasis on trying to keep AJ down and he still finds successful team fights, it means that no one is looking out for Athena and he's able to consistently get Azir back to back.
Yeah, 41% of the damage, of course, for his team. That's massive, and that's honestly what was the tail of the tape for this series for me, even though a lot of my eyes were on Amazing J, what he would be able to offer for this series. It was first counter the Azir. Maybe you get yourself the Xerath pick. It didn't work out going to game 2 and 3, and Amazing J was able to protect the Azir in a lot of these team fights, and you saw so much damage coming through from Athena.
And as much as Amazing J played fantastically, we have to take a look at the final team fight because it was a fantastic play from Athena that turned things around.
Yeah, it was the big swoop-de-doop, as I like to call it, where Athena just balls to the wall, decided that no, we are not losing today. And Aimee ran it back in a very similar situation to 2016.
Yeah, we didn't expect BLG to be able to take this fight. It looked so tough
Here
just because of Vladimir doing so
Oh.
well. But yeah, you get 2 free members into the opposite side of the map and then boom. Just that simple.
And again, Athena got to ride underneath the radar, getting a lot of priority attention from his jungler, getting priority champion like Azir, especially when you go into a late game. This is our longest game of this entire series. What, 27 minutes the first one, 24 minutes the second one, and then we go the distance to 40 minutes. And Azir is just going to blast people, especially in tandem with Varus, who's built Rageblade.
And the reason why it was such a difficult match was even though I loved the BLG composition, it was going to be incredible for team fights. The team fights weren't going in favor of WE for the most part of it, just because a little bit of an early game advantage, on top of the fact that they had 24% damage buff from having triple Infernal Dragon on
Plus
top
Vladimir.
of the Elder Dragon too. There was just so much going well for the team, so I was a bit surprised that WE were able to lose on that one.
Well, with that, Bilibili Gaming were able to take down Team WE in that best-of-3 series. It was hard fought and a well-deserved victory for them. For now, though, we're going to send it over to Clement, who is standing by with Amazing J with an interview.
Welcome to the interview desk here. My name is Clement, and I'm here with the victorious AJ. Can you say hello to the fans for us?
Hello, I am BLG Topu, Amazing J.
Thank you very much. So my first question for you was, that was a very, very tight game. In the last 2 waves, you guys managed to seal the deal. Can you talk us over what were the decisions in those last 2 team fights? 就刚刚你们那一场比赛真的打得非常非常的刺激紧张，在最后的2波团战里面才终于逆转了回来。你能跟我们讲一下那2波团战里面你们大概是做了哪一些的规划，然后有哪一些 call 吗？
因为对面阵容比较没有位移的阵容嘛，我们就控制阵容，控制的技能比较多，就抓紧对面，抓住对面的失误，然后这样去打团。
So AJ says that the enemy composition really had a lack of mobility, so we looked for opportunities when they made small mistakes, and our team composition had a lot of control, so we were able to capitalize on those mistakes and push them out of the game. Now, so for the second question I want to ask you is, after the break on Thursday, we've been seeing so many Gangplanks being played, and this is also your first Gangplank game in the LPL. Can I ask you what you think about the pick and why has it become so popular? 就 AJ， 我想问你的是，就礼拜四的休息天之后，我们看到 LPL 里面出现了大量的船长这个角色。那我们可以问你，你对船长这个角色的想法是什么呢？那为什么在 LPL 最近这么火热？
船长这个英雄，因为最近流行了一个偷钱的打法嘛，他就不用补刀，还可以出辅助，就是攻击装备，然后不用补刀就 Q 你的英雄，就发育起来就发育的特别快。还有他现在的机制很好，大招可以全场的资源，还有他的一个属性，就现在很多英雄都不可以完全的克制他的发育，所以船长最近这英雄特别好用。
AJ says that Gangplank is really popular because he can grow really fast in the top lane. He has Kleptomancy as a rune right now. He also has these salary items, as we like to call them, gold generation in the top lane. And there aren't many counter picks to Gangplank right now. Also, he has a global ultimate, so for teams that like to fight around the map, that's also very good for him. Now, for my final question for you, Amazing Jay, is that we know that in 2016, you guys defeated WE to go to Worlds, and you had a quiet stretch in 2017 where you weren't able to defeat this team. Now it's 2018, you got the first series win over him. Is there some sort of a rivalry going on between you guys and WE? What do you feel when you play against them? 那我最后一个想问你的问题就是，你们在2016年的时候也是击败 WE 进到世界赛，那2017很不幸的没有办法去战胜这支队伍，但现在是2018的第一个系列，你没有打赢了他们，你会不会觉得你们跟 WE 有一种就是这个对敌的一个感觉？那你遇到他们队伍的时候，你心里在想什么？
就2017年就有一股输敌的感觉嘛，但是2018年我们更名了，就 BLG 就重新开始来过嘛，所以没有这种感觉，就每个队伍都特别想赢我们现在。
Okay, so Amazing Jay says that in 2017 we felt like we could never defeat WE, but now we changed our name. We are BLG Gaming, and we feel like we have a brand new attitude facing them. We feel like we can defeat any single team. So keep on supporting us in 2018. Thank you so much for your time, Amazing Jay. Stay tuned in. We have our next set coming up right after this break.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Shanghai, where we just witnessed our first game of the day. Billy Gaming taking on Team WE. We still have one more match to broadcast out of the Shanghai arena here at the Super Brand Mall before we move on to the next match, which will be taking place at Snake's home arena in Chongqing. Bringing us onto the desk right now is going to be Clement Chu as well as Brent Raz Mohammed, who is still here with us. You just don't seem to leave my side, Raz.
I'm not going to leave. You can't force me.
Are you going to be talking on behalf of Clement as well, you know?
I'm just only going to be talking to Clement, quite honestly.
Wow, he's not even going to talk to me. Not even my question, but it's okay, Raz. It's okay, we get it. Before we go into this next game, guys, we didn't get to hear your thoughts on that last match, Clement. Billy Gaming taking on Team WE. What did you think of that series?
I think it was more than just the game of the day. It was probably the game of the week for us right there. The last two team fights, you could see that W were trying to push that 36% extra AP/AD, but Xie went a little bit too far and the thing kind of collapsed from there. What I do want to pick up about that series is the bans and picks. We are seeing a huge influx of LCK picks, especially the Gangplank and the Varus. Actually, the Gangplank, we didn't only saw one pick before Thursday's break. Now Gangplank is the most picked top laner in the LPL. Also about the Varus pick, after Friday, he was in every single series. So those two picks, we really have to zone in on them and talk about how they fit together in the current meta.
Yeah, I really love the fact that teams, I would say the LPL, of course, started out global meta, kind of seeing what works, what doesn't competitively, but now you get to see a little bit more coming out of Europe, you get to see a little bit more coming out of the LCK, and then ultimately it just feels like the games, other than the first two games of the day, they can go the distance, just because the bottom side of the map is a farm off in a lot of cases, a lot of shielding, a lot of healing coming out of there, Celestial Body, Targon's Embrace, there's just so much that keeps that bottom lane healthy. There's so much also on top of that ability to stall out a game with Azir, Tom, Kent. We saw a lot of that on top of that. So it feels like when it comes down to it, you either ban the picks, or if you can pick it up for yourself, you always have an option even if you're just a little bit behind in the game.
Yeah, and I just want to talk about like why Gangplank is really good. We just had an interview with Amazing Jay about the global presence and the scaling. I just want to say that for Gangplank, we're seeing a lot of combos. The biggest thing that defines Gangplank is he does not teleport to the bot lane. So you want very fast kill combos in the bot lane. We're seeing Malzahar and Varus being the two biggest picks that are picked alongside Gangplank in the meta, and that really facilitates really fast kills before the enemy top laner can do anything in the lane. So I think we're going to be seeing this, especially with Gimgoon on the Rift.
Yeah, it even makes up for the fact that he doesn't have that initial CC himself. Of course, usually that's what you expect from the top lane position. If you don't pick up a carry, you want to be able to bring that CC to fight. So Varus is going to be a very key pick on top of that. Maybe LWX is going to be able to pick that up himself. It's doing a lot of damage in these team fights. So that's a really good telltale, and maybe we'll get to see that coming out of FunPlus Phoenix.
And we talked a little bit about the meta, you know, going up between FunPlus Phoenix against OMG later on in the next match for today. How is this going to affect the likes of Pepper, who we've had question marks about coming into the series, especially with SMLZ no longer being on OMG?
I will say initially, Pepper has looked incredibly good off of his carry picks of Kha'Zix and Jarvan, that he's able to get leads for the team quite heavily, but then once the game goes on, he makes some questionable picks. Maybe he can get on top of Chelly. Maybe that's going to be a big point to focus on as the game goes on, but for me, it's going to be about fortitude, mental, I would say, structure maybe in the later portion of the game. If he can still keep calm, then that's something that we can look towards.
Yeah, this series for me is really about OMG setting themselves up. Like, what is their winning formula? We saw last split where they had this 6-0 start. It was about dragging the game out late. You know, we have Icon as this pre-distraction in the middle, and then SMLZ comes out and carries the game from there. But they don't have that big carry for them anymore, so we're not sure how exactly is OMG going to win games. One thing I think that they do have going for them is that we know that Bing does not have that Zoe pick. It was the only series between Snake and FBX where Zoe was not banned or picked. So he's going to be having sweet dreams instead of nightmares this series.
I like to hear that. I mean, anybody likes to hear the fact that they might not be going up against the Zoe. That's a fun pick. I want to see him play just because it kind of fits his style. He goes towards a Rise more often than not, Bing, and he wants to be able to get towards the side lanes, impact bottom side of the map, or even impact Gimgoon. So that's something that will help him out if he gets a lead early on in the game. If he does end up picking a Zoe finally, that it kind of helps the team's style a little bit.
And we talked a little bit about OMG here, whereas for the side of FunPlus Phoenix, they looked good starting up in the OPL. What are your thoughts on them going into this match?
I think they look like a very clean team. They have an established close in BSYY coming in from Dan Gaming and showing results there. They're one of the teams where I feel like they play around their junglers so well. We can really tell that Pepper is calling some of these shots whenever he has a lane assignment that's shoved in. Usually when they have 2 lanes shoved in, it's a dive happening somewhere on the map. And we've seen that so many times over and over again. I feel like if Bing can manage to control the mid lane against Icon, this could be a very fast series.
And the best thing about being in this kind of a stadium in the Super Brand Mall is that you get to listen in on the players sometimes too. And I remember FPX when they were they weren't on an English broadcast, but we got to hear them kind of like communicate, and you can just like